Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca.
And I'm Clerona. And today we'll be discussing the Ministry of Healing, which was written over 100 years ago. And it's basically just how to live a healthy life.
Yes, and we're going to go through the first chapter today. It's called Our Example. And why don't you start us off and just share with me something that you found interesting?
Yeah, so the first thing that I found interesting, literally the first couple of sentences, and it says, it was Christ's mission to bring to men complete restoration. He came to give them health and peace and perfection of character. And I think just reading this, starting off the chapter, I'm just like, wow, like God just really wants to restore us to who he originally created us to be. And I think like just having that in my mind as reading this chapter really put everything like into perspective. And he said he came to give us health and peace and to help perfect our character.
And I actually had that.
Oh, did you actually?
I did. And like that sentence continues, it says, in body, mind, and soul, men are to be made whole. So you can see like, it's a complete thing. Like perfection and restoration includes body, mind, and soul. And these things are really important for us.
Yes. Did you find anything interesting as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
The next thing, like continuing, it says, he glorified his life by making everything in it subordinate to the will of his Father. I just thought it was interesting, like the way that you can glorify your life is by making everything in it go under like the will of the Father. I had never really understood it that way.
It kind of reminds me of how it says like man plans their steps, but God is the one that directs their paths.
Yes.
So like if we we can plan our paths and we can have all these plans for our lives, but once we like submit our will to God, he's the one that shows us where to go.
And that, I guess, when you submit your will to God and he guides your path, that's the only way that you can reach complete restoration.
Exactly.
It's not something that we can do on our own.
Yes.
Because on our own, like, we'll just go off the wrong path.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it also says, like, he passed through the towns and cities, and he was a vital current diffusing life and joy.
I love that. I had that highlighted too.
Oh, really?
I had that highlighted. Yes,
like,
yes.
I got a diffuser like in my office, and then when I read this word, like it just made me think of that. Like when you have a diffuser on, like that smell just like radiates all around.
Yes.
And so when it's saying like diffusing life and joy, like that's how he was everywhere he went.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's also how we could be in our lives too. Like sometimes they said like the greatest testimony you can do is your life. You know, and like if you're a Christian among like non-Christians, your life should, like how you live your life should diffuse them, and they should want to know more about how you live because it's so different from how they live. They see like a happiness and a joy in you that they don't have in themselves, and they want more of it, you know?
Yeah.
So
it should be something that attracts them positively.
Yes.
Like they've got to see a positive difference.
Yes.
And I think that's like when you can be like a good testament.
Yes.
When other people see how is the gospel changing your life in a positive way.
Exactly.
Yeah. What else did you find interesting?
So what I thought interesting was it says, through childhood, youth, and manhood, he walked alone. Yet it was heaven to be in his presence. Day and night he met trials and temptations. Day by day he was brought in contact with evil and witnessed his power upon those whom he was seeking to bless and save. Yet he did not fail or be discouraged. And I think this was really like spoke to me because it says day by day he was met with trials and temptations, yet he did not fail or become discouraged. And especially like in my own journey and in my own like YouTube channel, like when I am discouraged, and I'm totally guilty of this, but when I'm going through like a rough path, I don't post. Like I will not make a Christian video to post because I'm like right now, like I need to get my life together. You know what I mean? Like I need to get my life together before I can put out a video.
Yeah.
And it says like even though he met with trials, day to day he was coming into contact with evil. He did not fail or become discouraged. And I think like for me that was like a really an eye opener for me. I'm just like, you know what? Yes, I have trials. Yes, I get discouraged, but that should not impact how I am being a witness. You know, I should not let that, you know, stop creating content and stop like, you know, ministering to people, you know, because like, yes, I feel discouraged, but God has the ability to, you know, help me go through that, you know?
Yeah. And then it goes back to like the diffusing life and joy.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's going to go through difficulties.
Yes.
But what should make like the Christian experience different is
Exactly. Yeah.
despite these difficulties, I can still like
I still show up.
share
Yeah.
and be joyful and encourage other people that are going
Yes.
through those difficulties too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Another thing like I found interesting was later on it says, while he ministered to the poor, Jesus studied also to find ways of reaching the rich.
Yeah, I had that highlighted. I literally had that highlight. Look
Really?
right there. He ministered for Jesus studying ways. Yes,
Oh,
I
wow.
wrote a note to that. Yes.
And yeah, it says he accepted their invitations, attended their feasts, made himself familiar with their interests and occupations, that he might gain access to their hearts and reveal to them the imperishable riches.
Yeah.
And what stood out to me the most was it says he accepted their invitations.
Yes.
That
yes.
That he was invited to stuff.
Yeah.
Like people wanted him around.
Exactly.
He was a joy to be around. People wanted to interact with him.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether they were rich or poor. And it should be like the same way for us. Like people should want us around.
Exactly.
Because that's when we're going to have opportunities to share with them.
Yeah. I think like what I took from that was I think many times we're just so focused on ministering to the poor, we forget that the rich need Jesus too.
Yeah.
Like I think like looking back at my I'm just like, okay, like I have to make sure that I volunteer at food banks, that I help if I see someone like begging for money, that I give them money. I'm so like poor ministry oriented that I forget, wait, hello, hold up. The rich people need Jesus too. How can I infiltrate myself in their spaces so that I can be a positive light? You know, it's not only about the poor. And I think like sometimes our churches really focus on that too, because like we see all these videos, give your offerings to this, and they show like all these little sad children in Africa or all these sad children. And like not saying like that's not important, but our ministry goes beyond just helping the poor, you know? And that's what like really struck out to me when I was reading that.
And the way that you can reach those kind of people, it says right here, it says he made himself familiar with their interests and occupations.
Exactly.
Like we need to make that effort. Like we need to seek out those opportunities.
Yes.
Because they're not going to come to you.
No.
And in the same way, like you can reach people like that are poor. There's rich people that also need encouragement.
Exactly.
And we're going to be able to reach them if we are familiar with them, if we have relationships with them. And we should like, make that effort.
Exactly.
Anything else that you found interesting?
Yeah. I'll just do one more. I just thought this was just kind of cute. It says, he passed by no human being as worthless, but sought to apply the healing remedy to every soul. So like even if God's ministry, like no one's too little, no one's too small for his healing and his power to like work in their lives.
Yeah, that's a nice one. The last one I think I'll share is, in whatever company he found himself, he presented a lesson appropriate to the time and the circumstances. And that I think is huge, because sometimes you want to like share a lot, but that person's not ready.
Yes.
And I think God, with his Holy Spirit, is the one that can help give you like that discretion, like what does this person need to hear right now? It's got to be appropriate to the time and the circumstance. And I think that's like, that's huge in like reaching people and like building relationships. Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
No, honestly, like I really enjoyed this chapter, and I think it was a very good like chapter to like start off with.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me like more perspective into who Jesus was, his purpose on earth, and like his like the reason why he really came was really just to reach everyone, poor, rich, everyone in general.
Yeah. And that's our example. Back to the title of the chapter. That's what we should follow too.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you when we discuss chapter 2.
Bye.